Welcome back to 97.3 The Sturge. We're here with our live morning show, aka called the Meeting Place Podcast. This bit came to me when I heard Jordan kind of also do this voice for the first 7 words of our intro last time. We're here. Yeah, we're the Meeting Place people. We're all here. We're living it up. It's mac and cheese in the morning. This is the Meeting Place Podcast. We all get together, we chat on Zoom with our various mics and headphones and Jordan Buhat Studios neon signs behind us set up. And we talk about entertainment news, movies, TVs, games, anything we want to talk about. Jordan has done a lot of work. Yeah, lots of TVs. Panasonic's doing great.
LG.
Yes, gotta talk about Samsung. I think Toshiba does TVs. It doesn't matter. Jordan did a lot of work compiling topics together for us to talk about, and all of our mics are plugged in, and we never have to talk about it again. Go ahead, Jordan.
All right. I'll throw everyone a little bit of an introduction here. We have Emma Houghton, that was just Griffin Cork, Chris Pereira, Emily Howard, Diego Stredel, and hello, I am the second portion host of today's podcast. I'm very excited to be that. And we have a couple quick topics to go over at the very beginning, and then we're going to hit into a super topic and then get into the final portion, which is the Butter Me Up, where we recommend something that you should
Which is this
try.
coffee cup.
That's right. Butter me up with this coffee cup. It might be my recommendation
Butter
at
me
the end of
cup.
the show. Butter me cup. Butter me cup. The first thing I wanted to talk about was a thing that pretty much over the week was the major thing that made waves. Was Tom Cruise got very upset when a couple of crew members were going against the guidelines of the COVID protocols on Mission Impossible 7 and pretty much just tore into them in front of everybody. I want to see, did anybody hear about this? Did anybody not hear about this? That's who I want to see.
No idea what you're talking about.
No,
Don't really
fantastic.
follow Tom Cruise, not gonna lie.
That's okay. That's okay. You don't need to...
Wait, how many people know about it?
I know about it.
I know about it.
Perfect. So
Okay.
we have
Yeah, it's just
little...
me and Griffin, the losers who don't know.
Tom
Jesus Club.
Cruise doesn't need my business. He doesn't need my help.
Wait, you didn't get the Tom Cruise
Easy.
Meeting Place email?
You didn't get
Tom
that
Cruise
email?
emailed us.
In our
Tom
forum?
Cruise signed up for the Tom Cruise MailChimp.
Oh my God.
That's what he said to the crew.
That was
Yes.
We have to restart the podcast. Griffin's got to do his cool radio voice again. All right. Welcome back.
Sorry. I tried to share a clip and it obviously was like my computer said, heck no. Apple said that's too much that you're trying to do. I'm going to try this one more
Skrillex,
time.
Dead Mouse.
Okay, let's try it and see. I want to hear that sound again.
Let's
I'm addicted now.
Everyone prepare your ears.
Oh, I'm into it.
That's right.
Jason Derulo. I should have said that.
Beluga Heights.
Dipping into the matrix.
Oh,
my God.
Red one.
Okay. Let me get 1 second.
That's so good.
That's terrifying. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull it up on my phone and do it that way.
now.
Okay. We'll see if I keep that in during the podcast, but here we go.
Please,
You know what?
Jordan, you have to keep it in. Maybe
Yeah,
lower the
it's
volume a
okay.
little bit.
Okay. Here we go. I have it on my phone. Let's see if this makes any kind of horrible waves upon our ears, on our cerebellums. Okay, here it is.
Because they believe in us and what we're doing. I'm on the phone with every studio at night. Insurance companies. Producers. And they're looking at us and using us to make their movies. We are creating thousands of jobs. I don't ever want to see it again. Ever. And if you don't do it, you're fired. And I see you do it again, you're gone. And anyone on this crew does it. That's it. And you too. And you too. And you.
So that is the beginning of it. It's probably about an extra 2 minutes after that where he just keeps on going. But the question I wanted to approach the meeting place with is some people didn't like the delivery, but do you agree with the intensity at which he's approaching the protocols?
Can I
Emily
just
is, like,
because I
jumping
haven't
in.
seen this?
Yeah.
In what context did this happen? Was there someone who was breaking the COVID protocol? Is that I just don't know what happened.
There's not a the specific incident of this person did this. It's just that two crew members, while they were filming one day, were standing too close together. I'm not sure if that was without mask or whichever, but they were breaking the protocols repeatedly or over a certain amount of time.
And he's a producer on that movie, by the way. Like, he's not. It's
okay,
because
I was like, is he just like firing everyone? Being because I didn't know that either. Okay.
No, it's the new Mission Impossible. So he's acting in it, but he's also one of the producers for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think that tone is appropriate at all. I think no matter who you are and whatever is happening, like, that's not a great way to talk to people in a professional setting. So I think, like, regardless of what was going on, like, that's a bit much, I think. I don't know. That's, like, scary.
It calls back to the Christian Bale kind of incident.
Just thinking about that.
Right, where
and
Griffin, go for it.
Go.
Actually,
you go.
Okay, where Christian Bale did a similar kind of emotional outburst because a crew member was crossing his eye line while they were acting. And I have my opinion, so I'm gonna throw it over to Griffin because he was continuing to talk. So I'll go last.
I directly compared it to the Christian Bale thing, first thing. And also finding out that he's a producer on it kind of locks in my opinion about it, because Christian Bale did it exactly not as a producer. They crossed in the eye line behind set, but just where Christian could see him, and he did that kind of freak out and like insulted his character. Like, he was like calling, like, are you a professional? Like, insane just yellings. And I agree, the tone is bad. I can understand why the producer would be mad. Like, I wonder if that would have gone viral if one of the other 3 or 4 Mission Impossible producers did that, or if it was just because it was Tom Cruise. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you actually, the content of what he said was weirdly inspiring. Of like, we're only allowed to do this because people believe in us. Like, there's something there, which is nice. He got way too mad. But there has been times, like, I've done 1 or 2 film things in COVID times here, and like a couple times the sound guy is working on my mic and his mask is down and he's right here. And as an actor, I don't feel like I can go, like, I kind of just sit there and I kind of deal with it. And I'm sure everything's fine. Like, we did a lot of testing for it, but you still get kind of put in that moment. And if anybody's going to get mad at you for doing it, it's the producer, because it's the producer who loses money if the production gets shut down because the provincial services or the state's health services find out. And it's also the producer who gets sued if a COVID pandemic outbreaks. He was way too angry, though. It's so weird because his content was so uplifting, but and he also didn't actually fire them there. He just yelled at them and didn't fire them, which is good. I think he could have done it in a more private setting.
Yeah, right.
Or at least, I don't know.
Yeah. I agree. It's hard because, like, I sort of like to go, like, hey, we're all human. Like, sometimes we yell at people and it sucks. And, like, definitely you don't want to do that in a professional environment. But, like, I feel like there's almost no comparison. I mean, there's a comparison in terms of the level of intensity to the Christian Bale incident, but, like, in terms of the deadliness of in terms of the situation, it's like the one time to get that angry would be over COVID protocols. It's like, literally, and he says later in the clip too, he says, like, everyone's jobs are relying on these COVID protocols. So if you want to put, like, thousands of people out of work, keep doing what you're doing, basically. And like, so I don't agree with name calling, because you definitely heard like expletives bleeped, and I think he called them bad names. I was gonna be like, I think he called them that, and I was like, can't do that. Can't do that. But so I don't agree with that. But I think like, and I don't agree with getting that angry. I don't. I just try to be like, okay, we're all human and we make mistakes. But I don't agree with name calling. But I was amused by the clip, because he does keep saying that's it, and then he keeps going, and then he's using it twice. He uses it in two ways. He's like, that's it, I'm done, but then he also says that's it as in like, then you're fired. So he says it probably like 18 times in the clip, and it keeps going, and it's really amusing.
Really driving the point home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Diego.
Yeah, I think I feel like as a producer, he's definitely in his right to be the person to tell the people to get in line. Again, not the right tone. However, I also see something wrong in the video. The fact that there is a video about this, of somebody within the production taking out their phone or whatever to record that scenario, is also very not appropriate, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if it was any other producer, if it would have been filmed, or if it would have been leaked at all. Just because it's Tom Cruise, then these things get out. But yeah, I disagree with a lot of it. But the general idea of like keep people safe in these times is kind of he has a point.
Mm-hmm.
Chris.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo kind of what everyone's been saying. I mean, like nowadays, everybody's pretty stressed. People say things they don't really mean. Everybody kind of flips out when they don't mean to flip out. So Tom could have been having a bad day, and then
Tom.
You're our old pal Tom.
First
Oh,
name
pal
basis on
Tommy.
Chris. That's wow.
he could have been having a bad day, and then just this kind of, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back, and he kind of lost it. Yeah, absolutely. I think it probably in hindsight could have been done a better way, maybe. But hey, yeah, what Emma said, we're all human, and it happens. And exactly what Diego said, like if this if this was a different person, nobody would know or care. So I don't know. I think yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna uh, give old Tom the benefit of the doubt, and he's probably just stressed out that day. He didn't really mean it. He just cares.
Old Tom.
I hope. I think he cares. I don't know.
Yeah, he's gonna be
Mr.
more stressed that you referred to him as old Tom now, because he listens
Probably.
to this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he
does,
watches
yeah.
the meeting place.
If
Tom,
anyone doesn't
sorry.
want to be called old, I'm sure it's Mr. Thomas Cruise Mapother the Fourth.
Not
So
more like old.
Sorry.
You know,
1 second.
OL.
What did Jordan just say? Did he say Mapother?
Mr. Thomas Cruise Mapother the Fourth.
Is that real or did you just make that up?
That's his real name.
Mapother?
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
I
No.
thought we all knew old Tom.
Don't we
That's-
know
that's
Mr.
his-
Mapother's
yeah.
If I knew
Cruise is
somebody
his middle name?
had the last name Mapother, I would make a way bigger deal out of it.
I still don't believe Jordan. I get the wool pulled over my eyes too often, so I disbelieve you.
Well, I don't have a sweater on me, so there's no wool being pulled here.
I'm
So
Did we fact check this?
I
Do
did.
we have a
I
fact
did.
checker?
I'm gonna do it right now.
Someone else can fact check. But yeah, I kind of mirror everyone else. There's a way to talk to people, but if there is a time to kind of with emotions to be overrun, I could understand that would happen right now. I'm actually like I have this feeling in my heart of, oh man, he cares so much. You know, just the with the words that he chooses to use, using that, look, if you mess up, this movie goes down, Hollywood goes down, and jobs go out everywhere. It's just that sense of responsibility he's trying to instill, whatever matter he's trying to do it, is it's pretty cool. Sure not the tone, but sometimes we don't know the context. We don't know if this was happening repeatedly, and then he finally decided to say something, or or whatever his day was like that day. Things happen. But I thought that his reason for and his explanation in his outburst was logical, and he even said to the other person as well, is like at the very end of the clip, he says, "Explain to me your reason. Explain it to me, and if it is logical, then fine, and if it is not, you are fired." You know, like, explain to me why you were breaking protocol. This is me now, I'm going off and paraphrasing. Then I'm all ears, right? But if not, then you can't do it, not one more time. Still me paraphrasing, but
I do wonder what's, first off, sorry, Mapother is correct. Mapother, which could be Mapother, but I doubt it. What would be the best thing to do? Would it be to make a big scene like that and not fire them, or fire them for breaking the code of conduct they signed?
If that's the two options, I mean, give the guy the chance and kind of, I would say, maybe go at him in public. If that's the only two options you're giving me, right? If you just fire someone in silence, then you're not let's say that was the first time it happened, then you're not giving them the person the chance or whatever. And is it sending a message to anyone, right? That sent a message to everyone how serious that this is. But I also like what Diego said about the ethics of someone recording it and putting it out there, whether it's because it was Tom Cruise or because it was just happening on a set of a big movie or whatever. That could have been kept within the movie, the Mission Impossible set, and then they could have moved on with their day, right? Who knows? We don't know if Tom, Mr. Mapother, went over and apologized afterwards and for the outburst, and who knows? But the context of what happened is kind of what I want to discuss with you guys, and I really like that. The next thing that we have,
that was supposed to be a mini topic. Sorry, Jordan.
No, that's
half
fine.
an hour.
I know, right? So the next thing we have, and then we'll go on to our bigger one, is I don't know if anyone is aware of the PlayStation Xbox situation. They're new consoles that came out this year, and they only come out every 5 years or so, right? So for people who play games, even people who play movies and stuff and stream, like, this is a fairly big deal. The difference between old consoles and new consoles can be significantly different. It's not like a new phone that comes out every single year. This is 5-6 years later, and the changes are drastic. So what happened was people were trying to pre-order these consoles, and some people did, and most people did not get one. And people were trying to figure out why it was happening. Eventually, it was discovered that there were bots used by certain groups to buy these consoles once they went in stock on certain websites. They got the specific article that I pulled off IGN was that specifically for PlayStation, 60,000 PlayStation 5s were purchased by bots from groups and then flipped for more money.
Oh, I've seen that in Facebook Marketplace all the time.
Absolutely, right? Sure. You know, let's say you sit in the checkout, the cart, right? And you're just one person, and you're gonna flip it afterwards, right? I would argue that there's no necessarily harm in that. But when you've got bots waiting there with no chance for any humans to be able to grab a PlayStation for their streaming, right? I think there's a little bit of an ethics code. So the UK is taking it a step further, and they're putting in the process of banning bots for buying consoles and a couple other things. You look at the fine print from doing that anymore. They did the same thing with live ticket sales, right? You can imagine, tickets to the biggest stars just would be scalped easily. But yeah, I don't know if anyone had any thoughts on this kind of situation, because it's starting to wrap up now and it's starting to tie up, and I wanted to bring it to people who knew about it and who didn't know about it, and your thoughts on it.
That feels like such a specific bill to pass. of stopping bots from buying game consoles. Like that feels like maybe what's the benefit to having bots buy any online product? What how does that serve anybody except I guess the provider of said, but there's no one's using bots to buy like a small business's like luxury soaps. Like it's not
You don't
providing
know
anything
that.
except for if there is,
Yeah.
I take it back and they rock. However, I doubt it. Like why isn't it just a across the board ban?
I
Well,
agree with that.
let's say like you're, I don't know, you're working overnight and the release of something is that at a specific time, and you won't get home in time enough, like to get a PS5, for example. And like I know, I mean, this is a very specific thing. Like I feel like you could get somebody else to buy it for you, but I could see that happening.
That's a great
Like a
example. Actually.
human
I wouldn't have
bot.
thought of that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of that at all. You know, you're trying
Right.
to get a, you know,
I set up my bot to buy my PS5, so
right. You wish, don't you?
Yeah, we all have bots.
yeah, I do.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it was shocking, and that's something that I definitely wanted to bring up. And our,
60,000 is a lot.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot,
I mean,
right?
The whole point of getting PlayStations is so you can play the game and have fun with your friends. I mean, what the hell are you going to do with 60,000 PlayStations?
You're
Light
gonna make
them
a
up,
lot of
Chris.
money. You're gonna make a lot of money.
Here's-
Those bots are
well,
gonna be
yeah,
rich.
I know they're going to make a lot, but at the end of the day, we're all just here to play the PlayStations. Why you got to be like? Why you got to be rude and
Chris.
take all the PlayStations away from everybody that just wants to have fun? I mean, times are rough right now. We just want to play the new Cyberpunk or what and
Chris,
whatever else
Chris,
they're
go
playing.
go Tom Cruise on them right now. Go
Yeah,
Tom
all
Cruise
right.
on them.
Ease them up, Chris.
Chris
Those are
could
your
never be a
bots.
villain.
I would actually love to hear from either Emily or Emma, who didn't necessarily have any stakes in this, and just kind of hear your thoughts on it. Because I mean, I was waiting on the Sony website and the Xbox website trying to grab one, and I didn't get one. I won't get one until maybe 2022. So
Yeah, I
that's the
mean,
fun.
for me, this is like so out of my element. I'm more of an HDMI to my computer and watch something kind of person. So I don't have any gaming systems. I
Right.
don't do that. So that's not something I know anything of. I mean, the whole idea of like internet bots in itself is really weird to me, and I don't quite understand like who is controlling who's the mother bot, who's controlling all those bots, where are they from, what's going on, I don't know. So that's a little bit more scary to me than the fact that Chris isn't going to get his PS5. So I don't know. That's my
Oh.
two
Yeah,
cents
dunk
on
on
that.
Chris. That's good.
That's why I'm really mad because I
Yeah.
didn't get one.
I know,
Chris
we
didn't
all
think of
know that,
Motherbot.
Chris, because
Emma,
Motherbot
did you
didn't
have
give you
a-
what you wanted for Christmas.
Aw, mother bot.
It's almost
Um,
nice.
I guess. I mean, I enjoy what you just said, Emily. Yeah, bots are scary. I also heard this whole thing about how the U.S. government. I don't know if you guys know about this, but they got hacked for the last 8 months through a software, and like a whole bunch of U.S. intelligence and a whole they were hacked, and they think it's the Russians, but they went in through a software that they use. That's like this tiny software company in the U.S., and they basically went in, wrecked that software, but the US was still using that software, and then for 8 months was extracting information from the US government. So like anyway, it seems like bots to me are like a little low on the list, considering the US like can't even protect the nuclear codes. So so that's funny.
Sick.
But I also think, because when this doesn't happen when you're checking out for stuff, but when you're like signing into like, I don't know, your banking or whatever, and then it'll be like, pick all the bicycle pictures, like more of that, man. Keep those bots out. Be like, yeah, how many
what?
signs, pick all the, when you're like, it'll be
Like the
like
captcha
9
thing.
squares, and it'll be like a bunch of pictures of like traffic,
I'm
and it'll
not a
be like,
robot.
hit all the ones that have a stop sign in it. And then that should, like, there's like not that many bots that can do that.
Yeah, like that's that's the one thing that's gonna throw off the bot. Like that's the one thing they can't do is pick the stop sign. Like
yeah.
I did see a
Apparently.
TikTok
That's their flaw.
where a bot was picking the right pictures.
Yeah, so these
Well,
bots
and-
have
Uh-oh, so we're in trouble.
we're in
So the
trouble.
bots.
They're learning.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I agree with Emily. Find the nest, find the bot nest, kill the mom
Find
bot,
the
and
mom.
everything's fine because they
Yeah.
can't survive without the mom bot.
The
We're
queen
going to
bot.
exterminate Mother Bot.
They're doing tests and picking road signs. They're
Send the
like-
bot busters
they're
in. Send the
training.
bot busters in.
All right,
That
Chris,
is
figure
always
this
a very
out.
comedic element to me. Is that there's medical experiments with bots doing surgery. So yeah, they're going to be able to pick the freaking traffic lights out.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that makes entirely sense. I was like, oh man, I bet someone could get an algorithm for that, right?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no,
probably, but-
Bruce. This is fail safe. The photo's blurry. Okay.
They'll never.
Yeah, like I fail those half the
I
times
know,
because
I
it's
do
like
too.
it's like in the corner, and I'm like, am I a bot? I don't know.
I don't know. I can't tell if
Do I
that's
have
a
a
brown
chip? I
car or
don't
the
know.
red car. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's like peeking in one corner. You're like, oh my god, this is horrible.
It's
Peeking.
maroon.
Yeah, so there's no winning.
Okay, well, yeah. To summarize, I guess we're all wondering what those
We're all
bots are gonna do.
Yeah,
next.
Bro, yeah.
What are they gonna
50
steal
years,
next?
Humanity's dead.
Anyways, let's talk about TV shows.
Anyways, welcome back to the meeting place. And we
cut all
are
of that out.
finally back to, we did all the anything we like, and now we're back to movies and TV, which is, we're actually doing specifically movies this time. And and dip out of the voice, the National Film Registry, they every single year add a few movies to their registry, and they somehow preserve or just give some kind of accolades to movies that have been culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Now, this is an article from Collider. That's where I got that from. And this year, these aren't, I mean, my personal preferences of what to talk about. I can read the whole list, but Shrek, The Dark Knight, and Grease have been added to the film registry. Now, in my mind, this registry is like, yes, let's take the highest quality of this movie and we're going to put it in our big stone safe where eventually one day it'll be covered in dust and we'll put it into the old DVD thing. And you know what I mean? Like that's, it's preserving. To heck with every other movie. They're going to die, you know, like,
But
that's what I-
Shrek must live on.
but Shrek must live on. So I wanted
Describe it on the
you
stone tablets.
to I wanted, this is more of a game. I'm gonna read off a couple other movies, and while I'm doing that, you can all think of within the last few years, what is a movie that is culturally, aesthetically just so relevant, just so culture turning that you would eventually want to see it in this, you know, kind of registry. Now it can be movies from any year. They added something from 1913 called Suspense. So it's any movie you think that could be in there. And I don't know every single movie that's in there. So let's just say that we don't know any of them. And if it is in there, then fantastic, you win. But I'll read off like some Oscar nominees and some People's Choice Awards, and you can ponder in your minds, because there are some lists here that are like, okay, you know, I don't know if that movie has been culturally relevant enough to be in a safe to in 50 years we're like, yeah, that's a freaking classic, just like A Christmas Carol, good old Shrek, you know.
And to be fair, if you think Shrek hasn't been culturally like a phenomenon, you are like probably living under a rock.
I agree with you. So you know what? Let's not think about these other movies. What do you guys
Emma,
think
you're-
about
Emily, you're
Grease,
living under a rock.
Shrek, Dark Knight? Let's go with Emily. What do you think about these three movies being thrown into the National Film Registry as culturally historic?
Shrek, The Dark Knight, and Grease.
Yeah, and there's many others, but those are the ones that I'm kind of locking in on here to keep the conversation.
I mean, I've seen all of those, and I love Shrek. Like, I'm on board with that. I think Shrek is life. I think Shrek is so funny. I recently saw the Shrek musical on Broadway that it was playing. It's so good. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this like bank of like this place where you select certain movies. Like, do they think everything's going to disappear? I
mean,
think
it
I'm
will.
confused as to like the point of this
Is it
thing.
like
I
the
mean,
Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I mean,
It's a Hall of
there's
Fame
so
of
many different
movies?
Hall of Fames, right? There's Oscars, there's People's Choice Awards. They're all in theory, it's all immortalized technically. But
Okay.
this one just has a different aura to it. The National Film Registry. It just sounds like they're keeping them somewhere. And I just thought it was such an interesting topic to bring up. It's not like an Oscar, right? Where, yeah, sure, there's so many Oscars that are won every single year, but it's like, whoa. Man, this seems.
And by national, we're talking the States, right?
Oh yeah, I
No,
guess so.
Canada.
Yeah, I guess it is a U.S. company, a U.S.
Right.
sort of board, Film Preservation Board, National Film Preservation Board.
That's fascinating.
Yeah,
I mean,
Sure.
who chooses the movies?
I mean it's all
Who choo-
subjective. Movies are all of them.
Probably,
Yeah.
So
They probably have members like the Academy does.
right.
Probably have members that vote.
Okay, if I was going to pick a movie to add to this, can I do that?
Yeah, go for it. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
What I would pick, and this, who knows if this is on it, but Moonlight.
Hmm
Moonlight, who that actually I think they won the Oscar that one year with La La Land.
They
They
like
did.
beat
La
them
La
over.
Land just joked them out.
Yeah, that was so
Yeah.
good. But I feel like that's a movie that I saw that aesthetically was super different and was this like really great. It was like so different from anything I'd seen, and also like the story was also culturally like a big movement in a direction of storytelling that I thought was so cool. But I feel like that would never make the list because it's not like big enough.
Moonlight
Is
was
it?
pretty big.
I don't know. Do you think it's on there?
I just
Maybe.
think that
I'm gonna
probably
look,
a
I'm
lot
gonna
of the
look.
members are white people.
That's
Probably.
the thing. Like,
Yeah, no,
I
but
mean, it's all,
wait,
sorry, Chris, go for it. Go for
I
it.
was gonna say, is there like a grace period, like when things get thrown in? Because Dark Knight, Shrek, and Grease, if those are just getting put in now, those have been. So like, do we have to give Moonlight
16
a
years.
few years before they get put in?
You know,
might
and
be like 10
there
years.
is some legs to that because the latest movie that was thrown in, sorry Emma, was
No, no, no.
2010.
mm.
So that's the
so-
latest. So there must be some form of grace period. I feel
where they have
that-
to like see if it stands the test of time, and then they're like, "This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
still killing it." This, because that's what I wonder what qualifies these movies, to
Right.
add them to this list.
Yeah.
I wonder if they do consider international relevancy because I'm thinking of those three movies. I bet you there's language dubs of like
Mm.
30 or 40 languages at least for all of those. Like all of those movies,
Mhm.
there would be that would be a huge. I wonder if that's considered. And I do see. I think I understand those choices. Like I think the Dark Knight kind of kicked off the whole, or the style of Dark Knight kind of inspired the whole style of now the Marvel Cinematic Universe in terms of like moving away from like the Adam West Batman to the more kind of gritty superhero movie.
Mhm.
Shrek was an animation thing like far above its time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Grease, yeah, I mean Grease is kind of just a cultural relevancy as far as I've known. Jordan,
Yeah.
you had something.
I did. Well, I would argue, though Dark Knight was amazing, that the one in the modern day superhero movie that really kicked it off would have been Spider-Man years before.
Oh, that's an
Yeah, very
excellent
true.
point. Yeah, that's very good. I wonder.
Yeah, very true.
But Tobey Maguire.
But do you think that Spider-Man, like, sure, maybe at the time it changed a lot, but did it stay as relevant and as interesting to people as maybe the Dark Knight?
I don't know. It's actually really tough. I feel like just like there's a bit of an edge out for the Dark Knight because of the mass critiquing review quality of the film of Dark Knight versus Spider-Man, though it was like iconic in the modern day superhero kind of movie genre. I think Dark Knight is, I mean, the Oscars don't normally nominate superhero films, and even in quotations, the Oscars nominate that film for best film of the year. So I think there's a little bit more of a mass belovedness of the Dark Knight.
Right. And I wonder because it's not it's not the Oscars, right? Like it's not an organization to choose the quality of film and media and cinema, right? Like that's what the Oscars is for. It's to take the cultural influences of that medium of film, but what had the largest cultural impact. So Shrek, I totally get.
Right.
I mean, I would, yeah. There's a whole bunch of like, I could say like, yeah, Moulin Rouge or like movies that I want in there, but I bet you Frozen will go in there. And if Lion King's not in there, I bet Lion King will
Do
also
you
be there
think?
soon.
Do you
That's
think
what Lion
Black
King is in
Panther?
there.
Do you think Black Panther would be in
Black
there?
That's
Panther
what I
will
was
go in
gonna
there.
say.
Because that was a
that's pretty
movie
good.
that like
Yeah.
wasn't that
Shook the
shifted
world.
everything.
Yeah.
Black
If
Panther
you
will
want a
Well, and-
cultural
definitely go
relevance
in there.
movie,
Yeah.
And also, like Black Panther, you can make the argument that Black Panther wouldn't have happened without the Black Lives Matter movement in 2013, 2016. And then because of that happening, also probably had an effect on the movement in 2020.
Right.
Like I think in 2028 it's gonna be in there. Or they're just gonna be maybe racist and take a really long time to come to that realization. But like they shouldn't.
And it just might take a little bit of a simmer on just kind of everything to take a step back and take emotion out of the decision of putting the movie in there and just looking at it in hindsight of was this movie part of a big cultural few years for either the world or specifically in the US, then I could definitely see there being a solid pitch for it being nominated or thrown in there. So I think.
Do you know,
yeah.
Jordan, if it's just narrative films?
Are you thinking like documentary or?
Yeah, because I would also pitch Super Size Me.
Right.
Oh.
So Super Size Me is not
Oh.
in there. Though I see your argument.
But I mean,
if it's
Grease.
just narrative.
Yeah, I need to
But Grease
see.
came out in when? The 60s? 70s?
Grease was, I
80.
believe it was in 78. Let me
Yeah,
see.
I think it was late 70s.
Yeah.
So it's like they took their time with Grease.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that, like,
Well,
if you
has
remember,
that one just been added?
That's just been added.
Oh,
yeah.
Just been added. Whatever's within the past couple of weeks here.
I
So
gotta look up
maybe-
what's in here already.
So maybe it just needed. They didn't like. I mean, like Shrek's big, like has been big consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like we're all still singing the Grease songs.
Are we?
But that's what's so interesting about
Wake
those.
up.
Oh, absolutely, we are. Like what's so interesting is they're so different. You know, you think of Shrek and the impact that's made on culturally versus Grease versus like the Dark Knight. They're so different. So it's interesting to. Yeah, I don't know. That's so weird. It's so cool.
Griffin's
like
got
it.
something on the tip of his tongue.
Is he
Or is he
writing
just
something
writing
down?
things down?
I am.
Taking
Keep
notes.
going.
Okay, well, so yeah, going over the list here. Now, this is obviously subjective things that stand out for me, but things like The Matrix is already in there, and I would argue
Think
as
so.
well that is something that should be saved.
Oh,
and
I
Toy
bet you Lord of the
Story as
I bet
well.
you Lord of the Rings is on there.
And Lord of the Rings
I
is
bet
not,
Lord of the
is
Rings.
not in there, but
It will
that-
be.
but it could be.
But it's not an American movie. It was New Zealand, right? Oh no, I guess.
it's an English one, I think.
Yeah.
It was filmed in New Zealand, but like
I
the
think
production
that's fine.
company, I think it's based in the UK.
But they're Miramax, so
Mhm.
Is that in New Zealand?
no, Miramax isn't. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
could this could be an American-based registry, which I'll take a look at. So someone else.
Someone
Yeah,
else.
I mean,
if it's only
Yeah,
American
right.
movies,
Regardless, I also think that it's really cool that they put Shrek in there because, like, honestly, I feel like as a generation, we all grew up like watching that film. Like, I've watched it like countless times, and I still love that film. You know, and it was such a big like revolutionary thing for animation. And this is maybe super subjective, but I also think like Spider-Man Miles Morales or like Into the Spider-Verse is a movie like that like
Yeah.
really revolutionized what animation is.
Yeah. I like that pitch. All right, Diego's got a pitch in there. Emily, what was yours again? You said you had one, Moonlight.
Moonlight. I don't know. I
yeah.
really love that movie, but I don't know if it would necessarily fit into like the kind of the iconic these movies that will. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting to go through the list of things and see if there's comparables to it. Why? What makes it culturally iconic, and what makes it stand out years and years and years later, right? So there have been repeated kind of similar genres. I would say something similar where Lion King has been inducted, as well as Beauty and the Beast. So because Toy Story's in there, I could see Frozen going in there as well.
Oh yeah,
Toy Story.
Yeah, right. So things like that. And there are, what is it? Hurt Locker, Brokeback Mountain, and Big Lebowski, Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, there's a.
Is Bambi in there?
Bambi. Oh my gosh, I don't know what year that is, so I'd have to take
let
a
me
little
just
bit
jump in,
look,
'cause
but
this is kind of what I was taking notes on. There's only 9 movies that have been inducted past the 2000s.
Yeah.
And some of them I've never heard of, and some of them I don't know if they fit the criteria we've all been talking about in terms of cultural phenomenon.
Bring them up.
So Brokeback Mountain is in there. I think that's a great one. I agree. Memento's in there, which is interesting because Memento was kind of like was the first famous like indie feature, which is super interesting. There's one called Real Women Have Curves, which sounds like a documentary to me, but I'm not sure. Mauna Kea, Temple Under Siege. I've never seen that. I've never heard of it. And it also doesn't sound American. I sure hope it's not. But that might answer our international questions. And then 13 Lakes, Decasia, Freedom Riders, Hurt Locker, Dark Knight, and Fog of War.
Oh, I haven't heard of most of those actually.
I know.
Fog of
You
War
didn't say
sounds like a
Shrek.
doc.
Real Women Have Curves is not a doc. It's a comedy drama starring an early
Okay.
America Ferrera.
Oh.
Well, that's nice that there's comedies, because so far we've been most talking about dramas.
Yeah.
Except for Shrek. Big
Except for
comedy right
Shrek.
there.
Right, I was
Massive.
talking about
breaking
like,
boundaries.
That Duloc song? You kidding me?
Hurt Locker is funny.
So you could argue Smash Mouth is something that needs to be preserved forever and ever.
Yeah.
I mean, did you guys hear that at the Smash Mouth concerts, apparently people in the audience would just like want the Shrek songs, and they were like so mad because they were like, "Come on, we got other stuff. Like we have other things to offer," and people are like, "Dude," they're like dressed up as Shrek, and they're like, "Okay, well, I guess this is our thing."
We quit. Yeah.
They peaked. It was
It's like they can't get mad because that made them like all their money.
Yeah.
Not all their
So
money,
Still
but like
probably collecting royalties to this day.
And they
probably.
also people got mad at Neil Diamond for singing "I'm a Believer" because they thought that it was a Smash Mouth original. Like they performed at concerts and people would like scream at him. So it's like there's a video way back of him on stage being like, "This is my song."
Oh boy. Well, hey, that's
I
an
said it was
interesting
okay,
topic.
but it's still mine.
That is an interesting topic to think about for like a further podcast. People who are so widely known for a role or something like that, and like have they been able to, escape that aura, and are they known for being themselves instead of just being a certain character, right? Because we have these stories like I do other things, and especially for us as 6 actors, we're like, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be amazing if we hit with something that made us worldwide known for this thing? But then you have to think of the other side too. It's like, gosh, I'm only thought of as that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching, one of my favorite things to do is watch audition tapes on YouTube of like people auditioning for TV shows I watched. And I watched Aaron Paul's audition for Jesse Pinkman. And I also love reading the comments just to hear people get mad about things, like people that are so angry with the world. And a bunch of people were like, well, he wasn't that good in his audition, but he was obviously the only person for Pinkman. And then someone else was like, Yeah, but he also just got really lucky because like anybody could have played Pinkman, and I was like, oh my god. But someone else was like, he's never going to be known for any other character. Like that character was so iconic for him and so perfect that like when you think about it, like what has he done since Breaking Bad? He's done other shit, but I don't know
Did
any
a
of it.
sequel of Breaking Bad?
Yeah, but it's like I have no idea what he's been doing because I don't remember him in
This
anything
is
else.
Aaron Paul, right?
Yeah.
He was in Westworld.
Yeah, exactly.
He
That's
was
what
in
I know him
Westworld.
from.
Yeah.
He's also
Here's the thing, which
he's also
season?
Todd in BoJack Horseman.
Also Todd.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but
that's a sorry, Emma. Continue. Continue.
BoJack.
No, I was gonna say, where's his face? What animated character is he in BoJack?
It's
The
in
guy-
Well,
he's
that-
like Todd's one of the main characters. He's like
Oh,
a
I don't
red-
watch
red
BoJack.
hoodie. There you go.
That's really interesting because, like, for example, oh gosh, oh no,
The Office.
please, Luke Skywalker. What's his name?
Hayden Christensen.
No.
No.
Luke
Okay.
Skywalker.
Sorry.
Oh.
The original one.
Yes,
Um,
the only Luke Skywalker.
The only
don't
oh
Skywalker.
shoot. What's oh god? What's
Once-
his
I want to
name?
die right
Yeah.
now.
I
I
want
want to
Diego and
die.
Emma to figure this out.
I know, yeah,
I
know,
wanna-
be quiet.
I'm not even. That
no,
big.
I don't.
Oh
I
my
feel like the
gosh.
pressure
Mark
right now
Hamill,
of Star
Mark
Wars.
Hamill.
Nah,
Oh
Mark
my God!
Hamill.
Thank
Good job,
you,
Jordan.
Thank you. Thank you. Holy crap! The pressure was killing me.
That's
I was
fine.
like, I'm a Star
Watching
Wars
these
fan. What am I
fast.
doing?
I'm not gonna
Um,
lie. I also forgot, but I would just put that all on you and then pretended like I knew what was
That's
going on.
Anyway, back
Nice.
back on what I was gonna say. Mark Hamill is one of those people that like had a
Mhm.
role that just like he didn't really break out of that, but
Yeah.
he went into voice acting and he's done phenomenally for
Mhm.
himself.
Mhm.
You know, like he's super successful in that area.
Well,
It's also
this
interesting to look
is
at two careers like Daniel Radcliffe or Elijah Wood,
Yeah.
like Frodo and Harry Potter, to see
Yeah.
those two things because I
Mhm.
think they're similar in a lot of ways, but I also think they're very very different.
Mhm.
Like Elijah Wood's done a lot of kind of weird indie stuff, and Daniel Radcliffe at least has like, I mean, he's still done like Guns Akimbo, but A Woman in Black, like that horror
Many
movie, like
things.
there's still some high profile stuff.
But
Well, this sounds
Daniel
like
Radcliffe. Oh no,
a
you go.
fantastic topic to save for
Sorry.
next week,
No.
where we are
Oh.
possibly going to chat
Oh.
about maybe some actors who are known for certain things and
Uh-oh.
have they been able to escape that aura? Harry Potter, Twilight, right? All these kinds of things that are just worldwide phenomenons. We'll maybe
Smash
check
Mouth.
in, check it, Smash,
Smash
Mouth.
Mouth.
We'll check in
Oh.
and see how they've been doing in
Check in with Smash Mouth.
2020. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We have everybody here. We have Emma, Emily, Griffin, Chris, Diego, and again, I'm Jordan Buhat. I'm the host today. Maybe not next time, but we are together.
Probably.
The meeting place where we talk movies, or this is the Meeting Place podcast where we talk movies, TV, entertainment, and anything we like. Clearly, we went on a couple rants today, but thanks for listening. And we'll catch everyone on the
Wait,
flippity
Jordan,
flip, but let's all
Are we not doing
smash.
butter me
Wait,
up
Butter me
Oh,
up.
let's do butter me up. Oh my gosh, let's do butter
real
me up.
quick?
Okay,
Real quick.
here we go. Let's do this real quick. My bad. We're gonna do the butter me up segment. Thank you, where we recommend one thing that is anything to recommend to our viewers, our listeners, to check out and try. That'll just give them any kind of joy. That can be entertainment. That can be movies. That can be a coffee mug, and that's what I'm going to start off with. This nice Disney mug. It says Mr. on the back, and it makes me very happy whenever I reach for my butter me cup. Silence from everyone. And I'm serious though. Find yourself a good mug. Like it, I reach for the same mug every single day. So I think that's a valid suggestion. Whoever, let's send it over to Diego.
I agree. I've been looking for like a solid mug for a while that I would like. It'll just be mine. I wanna recommend True Classics. It's a t-shirt company that I found on Instagram. And they kind of promote themselves as like this like well-fitting, like super comfortable kind of t-shirts, and you can order like packages and stuff. And at first I was a little skeptical because it's an Instagram kind of ad. But it kept popping up and I was like, because you can choose your height, your weight, your regular t-shirt size, your measurements and stuff. And they kind of tailor them to you in a small way. But they actually, I find them really comfortable. They fit really great. Yeah, it's true classics.
Love it. Chris?
A podcast I started listening to. I'm only 5 minutes into the episode, but it's a D&D podcast. It's called Dungeons and Daddies. I'm only 5 minutes in, but it's so funny. So start listening.
Oh, I love that. For anyone who's into Dungeons and Dragons, we're trying to get onto that train where Diego would be our dungeon master, if I'm saying that correctly. I haven't played, but we're trying to get that down. Maybe that'll be a podcast episode that we just do, and that can as an easy topic that we do. So next on my screen is Emma.
Hello, everyone. I'm gonna recommend for Butter Me Up a book club. It's called Life's Library, and it's a monthly subscription book club that I used to be a part of. I'm not anymore, just because I had a lot going on. But it's run by John Green of the Vlogbrothers, and it was created, I think, with him and his brother. But it's really amazing, and you actually get the books physically sent to you. You get a book every month physically sent to you, and it also comes with like bookmarks and like stickers related to the book. So they employ a lot of artists to make art around the book as well. And you get it, and then you also get a pass, like a little passcode, and I think it's on Discord, but I can't remember what platform they use. But they also have you get put into like, you get sorted into like kind of like your Hogwarts house, but it's like a separate bookshelf. So you answer some questions based on like what your like color favorites are, and then you end up in this specific bookshelf, and then that's everyone in your bookshelf, and that's your small reading group for your Life's Library stuff. It's really incredibly cool. And they send awesome books, and it's just like an incredible thing that they do. So as soon as I can get back on that, I'm gonna get back on that, but you should too.
How much is it?
So cool. Yeah,
I forget how much it is.
Very nice.
But it's probably the price of like 3 coffees a month. So if you like coffee, don't drink it anymore. Instead, get a book club subscription.
I'm drinking coffee.
Emily?
Okay, so very embarrassed to say, but I promised I would talk about this. So I'm going to dip into Bachelor Nation here for a bit. So Bachelorette's on, season finales this coming week. It's reality TV, and there's so many things wrong with it, but it's so entertaining, and it's so dumb, and it's edited so well. So watch it, don't watch it, you lose either way. But that's what I'll say for today. So
oh my gosh, love it. Check out The Bachelor. Then we have Griffin.
Only because it came up a little bit, I'll recommend Moulin Rouge. It's my favorite film of all time. I'll also recommend the entire Baz Luhrmann filmography because Great Gatsby's pretty good. It's Romeo and Juliet is fine. I bet Moulin Rouge, nice and quick. Watch it. I love it.
Gosh. And you know what? Because you introed us, Griffin, why don't you take us out as well?
This has been 97.3 The Sturge Meeting Place podcast. We've had expert witnesses, guests, and philosophers on our program. Thank you so much. Our radio station is still taking donations if you want to buy a t-shirt or a toque or a tote bag. Things are not looking good for radio media, so if you want to come on and like us on Spotify, we do have a Patreon. Connect with us on MSN.
We have none of these.
Have any. Yeah, nope. Look up 97.3 The Sturge on Patreon, and you'll find sadly, we have $30, $40, and $600 tiers. You'll get a cool, sweet, crisp high five. Thanks.
Don't send money to they're not us.
We're taking open auditions for our intro now.
Radio needs support, everybody.
Thank you for watching. This has been The Meeting Place podcast, where we talk movies, TV, entertainment, and anything that comes
Tired
up.
Jordan out.
Thanks for watching, and we will smash to black. How about?
Yeah, for all
Love
time.
that. 1, 2, 3. Smash to black.
Smash the black.
bye.